joining our class today. I'm Lauren Hovick and I'm here with Kaylee. And we are taking you through a fundamental mat class. I put this class together to help combat some common faux pas I see when teaching mat classes. So we'll teach you, especially when you're at home and you don't have eyes on you, how you can sense where your body is in space, get a little more awareness so that you can do each exercise with better technique. And that's going to allow you to progress through the exercises, get more out of them, and also advance your work a little quicker. So we are going to start right away on the mat today. I'll have Kaylee lay down. You can work your way down to your mat. And I'll have you start in a lie down. Really common mat class, we start with pelvic curls frequently, so we'll start with your knees bent. And a great way to find the right position for your body, if you zip your thighs, knees, and feet together, and you pull your feet close enough to you that your shins are maybe just a little shy of perpendicular to the floor. And then from here, our feet usually aren't zipped, so we'll open toes just a couple inches apart, and then move your heels in line with your toes. So this is going to ensure that you're not too wide, where you're not going to be using enough inner thighs. This puts you in a great starting position. You also want to check for when you're in your pelvic curl setup that your shoulders are nice and relaxed, your rib cage is relaxed, and your pelvis is neutral. What we mean by that is just that it's in its natural position, that your whole spine is in its natural curve. So you have maybe a small space under your back, your pubic bone, your hip bones are all the same height off of the floor. So coming into our pelvic curl, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, first thing, recruit your abdominals to scoop in. Second, start to lift your tailbone up, one vertebrae at a time following. This is really coming from the back of your legs. At the top, for today, give yourself a big arch in your back, see how high you can go, and then lower back down so you feel a little more abdominals and a little less back. This is where we actually want to find in each one. So sometimes coming in and out of it is going to help you know where it's at next time. Let's roll down, sinking your sternum, your ribs, the lower back, all the way to neutral in your pelvis, returning back. Inhale again. Exhale, we'll draw your abs in, feel the back of your legs starting to lift you. And this time you don't need to go too high because now you know what you need to feel to recruit that exact straight line. A lot more abdominals and nice lengthen through your back. Go ahead for me, Kaylee, bring your ribs, a little closer to your hips, nice. Exhale, we'll sink the sternum, sink the back of your ribs, sink your low back, come back to neutral, and return. Now we're finding it less flow. Exhale, scoop and lift up. You also don't need to worry about your arms being in a certain position. I just want them lengthened, not a lot of tension in your hands. Exhale, sink, and we should be almost starting to feel like we're pulling our tailbones up towards the ceiling, even as we start to roll down with the upper back. Let's go 2 more times. Scoop and curl, rolling up. I love how much ab work we just saw Kaylee get. I hope you're finding that same scoop at home, keeping this distance short, almost like little suspenders in the front side. Pull it up your leggings, your pants. And let's roll it back down. And neutral, we'll do 1 more. Keep pressing the backs of the shoulders down. Keep your feet nice and firmly pressed. And this time, as you roll down, we'll let your arms float up overhead, straight arms, as you start to roll down. And I'll let you go into a nice stretch, arms overhead. Let's take right leg out straight on the floor. And then we'll take your left arm back to your side and just focus. I actually want your right arm back to your side. So there's a little cross-lateral stretch. You'll feel your right toes and your left fingertips really just reaching out nice and straight. Giving yourself a nice gentle pull. And then bend the knee, set that arm down, switch sides. So it's the opposite arm overhead as the leg that you're stretching out. And just feel a little bit of length through your hip flexors, through your shoulder. And take one more breath there. And then exhale, arm back down, bend your knees again. We'll come back to zipping together. And this is a setup for a spine twist. Supine, I'll take your arms out to a T position. Palms will go up towards the ceiling, which is super important for your shoulders to get a little openness that we don't get a lot outside the studio. With the feet zipped together, you'll tip your knees to one side, lifting your pelvis up on that side. And I love how Kaylee's bringing her foot with her other foot. So you're not trying to leave that foot behind. If you pause, set both feet down, you can see instantly it changes your knees. So pull that foot back up so your knees are in line and then return back center. We'll do the other side, taking the back foot with you. And then pulling back center. We want to treat this like one half, this like one half. Every time I do this, I imagine that my body is like a Rubik's Cube, and you want to just twist right at this seam, which would be your waist and your obliques. But really nothing from your pelvis down is actually moving. Shoulder blades up, not moving. It's all in your trunk. And pulling back in. And inhale. Exhale, feel that trunk work. And inhale. And exhale. Not too far. We want to make sure you're not arching in your back. Again, we're warming up obliques. And to the front. And warming up. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I feel confident. Let's go one leg up, tabletop now. Bring the other leg up. And we're going to take the same exact movement just with your feet off the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Pull down at that seam. And other side. Inhale. And exhale. Pull. Your feet can just stay nice and relaxed. Shins are parallel to the floor. And drawing in the ribs. Drawing your shoulder down. And other side. Inhale. And pulling in. Come back center. You might notice if your arms are starting to move from that T position, use your whole width so you can actually get a little more stability. It's going to help make it easier in the lower body. Kaylee's got a big challenge because she's on a raised mat. If you were doing it on a raised mat, it wouldn't be wrong to just grab the sides of the mat and she could actually hug it a little bit, which will probably make your chest stretch deeper. Which is great for Kaylee because she works a lot of her day at a computer. And one more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Hasn't let those knees shift since we set them. She's moving really well. We'll come back center. Set one foot down. Set the other foot down. Now another exercise we do in mat class a lot, the people who crank on their head, they crank in their hip flexors, is the chest lift. So I want to teach you how to do this exercise without those faux pas. So interlace your hands fully, get the webbing to webbing so you make a nice hammock. And then you'll place the heels of your hands right at the base of your skull. So we want to start in our neutral position that we found earlier. Take an inhale. As you exhale, the chest will come up and you'll think of your ribs sinking down and gliding towards your hips. Inhale, I'm going to have Kaylee reach for her thighs here. Go ahead and grab onto your legs and then use your arms to pull you a little deeper. And I'm not saying higher, I'm thinking more forward so that whole lower back is still touching the mat. Once you're at your new height, let go, see if you can stay. Take your hands back behind your head, see if you can stay, and lower down. And you're already should be shaky if you're doing it right. Inhale. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, reaching for your legs. Exhale, pulling a little further into it. Inhale, arms up. Take your hands behind your head, and exhale, lower down. Now, the head coming forward is really common, and Kaylee's doing it well, but let's go ahead and come into it. Now, if you push your head too forward, you'll notice your arms really aren't doing anything. So actually, push your head back into your hands so you're supporting it, That's the position. Even when we let go with the arms to reach, her head still staying where we set it. Exhale, you pull up a little deeper, nice. Now arms lift, keeping the height, hands go back behind your head. Reset, make sure that neck didn't start to creep forward and lower down. Let's do it one more time to stay at the top. Big inhale. Exhale, she curls up, eyes to thighs. Inhale, reach. And exhale, pull, pull, pull. Love this height she's getting. Arms come up. And she's gonna stay with her hands behind her head this time and take it for a rotation. So go ahead and rotate one side, pause. Let's take your back arm, reach for your front thigh, and also, same as before, pull yourself a little higher. And while you're here, just rely on that arm for a moment. Check that the distance between your rib and your hip bone on both sides is the same length. You don't want to be going into a side bend, which is a common thing people do wrong. I see it every time I teach a mat class. Once you set, so for Kaylee, even a little more, yes, you feel that? Now she's gonna let go, take that arm up, bring it behind her head, and then come back center. You're gonna do the same on your second side, rotate. Take your opposite arm to your thigh and reach. And just use that arm hold it for a second. Notice the two sides, your right, your left. Get yourself nice and high in that flexion so you're even. Now reach your arm up, place it back behind your head, and then lift through center. You found it. Now let's stay and smooth it out. Rotate right. Inhale, lift. Rotate left. And lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. And go 3. Exhale, twist. And twist. 2. And twist. And last 1. And lift. Come back center, a little higher. One more time, grab on. Give your arms that nice little extra pull. Arms can float up and gently lower down. Woo, you deserve a nice moment. Let your abs recover. Deep work. So when you do it right, you'll get so much more out of it than if you just rush through and do like a crunch that we see all the time at the gym. Next exercise is still going to use her abdominals, but we're going to straighten her legs out one at a time. And I'm going to go over the roll-up and how you could modify the roll-up if your feet are frequently flying up, which is another exercise a lot of us can struggle with. So her arms reach overhead, her palms are in, and you can see she has a little arch in her back, which might be telling me that arms are too low. So for yourself, if you touch the mat, notice those ribs coming up, and then draw the ribs down and see if the arms, how high they have to be. Do that a couple times. Tap the mat. Find just where your shoulder flexibility really is when the back is not compensating. And even that feels kind of good actually after the ab work though. You can stretch while we're doing this. One more time. Let's go. Tap. And then draw the ribs down. This is where we'll want to start. You can extend nice and straight through your elbows. Zip your legs together. And take that position like the chest lift. We go arms, head, neck, chest, and lift up. Boom. And I love what Kaylee did. She biased a little bit towards a posterior tilt where you're slightly tucking so your low back is down. From here, because we might have feet flying up, you can soften your knees to help get you through that low back. And then as soon as you do, straighten back out and stay in your nice rounded spine. I'm gonna have her just relax her shoulders a little. That's nice. Inhale here. Exhale. Same thing on the way down. As you start to roll down, if you bend your knees, it can help allow your back to stretch a little more. And then we'll straighten as you go back, arms overhead. And she's gonna watch. Now she knows how to find it for herself. So watch that rib placement. Inhale, arms, head, neck, chest. We lift up just to our half lift. Exhale, soften the knees and roll forward. As soon as you can, straighten them back out. So there's a lot of coordination going on in this modification. Arms a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, rolling down. Perfect. The coordination coming down is so nice. Straighten your legs, straighten your arms. And that time better with the ribs. We'll go up again. Inhale, lifting into that nice high chest lift. Exhale, she'll bend her knees, round that low back to the ground. Keep the back round as you come forward and straighten out. Inhale. I like this. She's not collapsing. She's keeping a nice C curve. See if you can just round that, the lower back a little more. Nice. And exhale, rolling down. She's scooping the abs in. That knee bend helps her do that a little extra because her hip flexors aren't fighting her abs. We'll do one more to take you up to the top. Nice ribs. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. Stay around, stay around, stay around. Good. And lift your trunk up nice and flat. Let's go into a spine stretch. Another exercise we use a lot in mat classes because you get such good hamstring stretch and your back at the same time. So flex your feet. Open your feet to the outsides of your shoulders. And you can see Gailey's a little tight in her hamstrings like a lot of us are. And so what we could do, because number one, this is about our spine, she could soften her knees a little and bring her back straighter. So this is important at home. If you feel that you're not right on top of your sits bones, you're kind of rocked, you go back where you were, you're rocked a little bit back, you're not going to get quite as much stretch in your hamstrings in the right place or in your back. So get yourself right up on your sit bones, even with bent knees. Now our position looks really good. Let's keep the feet pointing right up to the ceiling. That's also going to increase the stretch in the back of your legs. Take a nice breath in. And as we exhale, roll your head forward like you're stretching your neck. And then the neck is done. Let the upper back roll forward. Let the mid back and the lower back. And she's reaching right between. Pause when you get to your low point. Two mistakes we see all the time. Shoulders up in our ears. So draw your shoulders to your ears. Pause here. And then pull your shoulders away from your ears. One more time. Lift them up into your ears. Pull them away. So we want to find this away. If you're engaging the back of your armpit to help, your lats is really what we're working. And then we'll roll up, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed. And lift, 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 lift. She comes back to her straight position. A little less ribs. There. Inhale. And exhale, like you're peeling off that wall again. And this time, you're thinking shoulders. You're thinking my spine is rounding, but my shoulders are not rounding. Our bodies are funny, those two. They just go together. Round the back, round your shoulders. We do it all day long, every time we're looking at a phone, a book, a computer. So this is great to kind of teach your body, whoa, they do two different things. My shoulders do not have to move with my spine. Let's go ahead and stack back up. And good, keep staying lifted and beautiful. We'll do one more, inhale. Exhale, rolling down. Round that upper back. Good, and I love that she didn't do shoulders when I said upper back, because that's that spot. Inhale. Head could go maybe a little less. Bring the back of your neck toward the ceiling a little more. There. So it's a little higher than your shape. Exhale, roll back up. That's how you're going to find much more benefit from this exercise. It also makes it a lot deeper. So if you do it right, you get a lot more out of it. Keeping her knees bent so she can stay right on her sits bones. Let's zip her legs together. We'll open her arms out to a T and rotate your palms up towards the ceiling. Now this exercise is called spine twist. Drawing the ribs again. Nice. So you're twisting your back, and it's just like that Rubik's Cube that we did laying down. From the waist, we twist a little further center, and twist. a little further, center, alternating sides, and twist, a little further, twist, a little further, twist, a little further. Pause for a moment. Look at your knees. If your legs are straight, look at your feet. Watch they don't start to pedal. Can you see that shift? When we twist to one side, it's very common for the other side to twist forward and other side and twist. Where do you feel this working? Probably a little bit in your hips. They're doing a little hula. So we'll come back to center. Re-zip. Keep it locked down. Just the waist again. And twist. A little further. Nice. Now the abs, the obliques are working. Boom. A little further. Boom. A little further. You can let your head move with your trunk. It doesn't move further. You just keep your chin over your chest. Boom. Further. Boom. Further. And I like this arm. Stay in a T. And that's another one. The back arm liking to try and cheat and go forward. Let's go twist, a little further, twist, a little further, and one more each side. Our spine nice and wrung out. Good, take your hands behind you. We'll go fingertips can face towards your body. You can bend your knees. This is gonna be a little more full body integration now. So, this is a modified version of back support. What I'm modifying is the knees. I want them bent today because I know that Kaylee spends a lot of time at a computer. I want to help open her chest a little bit more. So we're bending the knees. She's going to come higher as a result. So before you go into this, sink your chest down. Sink, sink, sink. You can feel your shoulders up in your ears. There's no support here. Now lift up like you're pushing the ground away. That's it. Do that again. Sink, 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 sink. And then push the ground away. Lift, 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 lift. Already, those muscles you feel that are helping you lift, those are what you're going to want to focus on during the exercise. So you found it now. Think your back is a board. Just hinge at your hips. We'll exhale to lift up. Going for as straight of a line as we can. Pulling in the abdominals nice. And inhale. Hinge down, crease at your hips like they're just folding. And exhale up. Head can follow the line of the spine. So maybe the gaze kind of the high corner on the ceiling or the wall of the ceiling meet for this room. And crease come down. She's still lifting up out of those shoulders on the way down. It's brutal, it's hard work. Lifting up. And she's feeling again, hips up towards her ribs. I love the way she's coming down in a crease, her back staying nice and flat. And hinge. We got one more. Challenge yourself. Go, 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 go. Inhale, reach those knees away from you. Feel this nice stretch and just pull in nice. That'll help relax the back. Crease to come back down. And take a second, reach for your toes, grab on with flex feet, just let your wrists stretch because that can put a lot of pressure on our wrists. I always recommend if you are feeling wrists, just like give yourself a couple repetitions. Once you feel like you can't, you're sinking in your wrist joints, maybe take a break and pop back in, but we want to build some endurance there so we can do like push-up type positions and hold it more comfortably, and it just takes time. Let's go ahead and roll to your side now. We'll come onto your forearm. This is going to be a modified side bend position. So I'm having her knees bent. I want her hips stacked. So think of your top hip bone over your bottom. And the shins are trying to be kind of parallel to the edge of your mat, the side edge of your mat. So that some of her shins, her hips, and her shoulder, elbow are all going to be in a nice straight line. I think for Kaylee, you're going to pull her elbow a little closer there toward her. And I want her chest to just come a little forward so she's in a nice straight line. Okay, from here, take this hand behind your head to get started and bring your head right in line with your spine. And that same thing we were doing with the last exercise, lift up out of that bottom shoulder. So you really are pushing the ground away. It's gonna help give you more control in the shoulder. From the abs, the obliques, exhale and lift your hips up. And find a nice straight line. Inhale, let's just tap them down. And exhale, pull up and lift here. And I'm looking that she's still trying to pull her bottom ribs away from the mat. Inhale to tap down. And exhale, she's working the shoulder so she's not letting it hike up. And lower down. And exhale, pull up. Good. The alignment on this one, good. I can use the seams on the shirts. You can always know for yourself if you're at home, is my seam straight? Then your body's probably straight. Let's lower down. And up 2 more times. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. And 1 more. Readjust the shoulder. Hold it here. Let's take the knee open without moving the hips. Just the top knee open. Close it down. Little clamshell. Exhale. If you've been to rehab for knees, hips, you've probably done the clamshell in PT. And lower down. Exhale. It's a great exercise for the deep outer rotators in your glutes. And pulling up. And oh, we got a pop. It was a good pop though, I hope. It felt okay. I always say if your body's popping but it's not hurting, I don't worry about it too much. If it does hurt, go get it checked out. And 1 more. She's really holding this side. It's taking a lot of work. She'll lower down. Let's have you come up onto a seated position and just let that side stretch out. So let's take this arm overhead. You can stretch the lat that was working as well as the supporting obliques. And a little opposition, drawing the hip down, the arm up. And let's switch sides. So her legs can swing around to the other side. We'll come on to your other forearm. And bend your knees. And get yourself in that nice straight line. Find the right spot for your shoulder. And I think you might benefit if you come back a smidge. Yep. And bring your chest just forward a smidge. There. Hand placed behind the head, draw the ribs. I'm going to have her head also start. So it's like the top of your spine. You want that same line. Our bodies naturally are going to orient vertical because we're used to seeing our world in that plane. So it can be a good thing to practice for yourself. Oh, is my head actually in line with my back, or am I trying to just be vertical all the time? Inhale. Exhale, pull up and lift your hips into that side plank position, drawing the abs a little more good. And down. Exhaling up. You might need to do that. You might need to make a little adjustment, whoa, I'm not in a place I can support. Maybe we'll pull the knees back. Let's get that hip bone. Yep, there we go. Back forward. And now I can feel her abs working underneath. Small change, hip 1 inch forward makes a big difference in where you feel it in your body. And exhaling up. Good. She's still really using this side, pushing down. Let's lower. I'm going to make 1 more adjustment on Kaylee, just bringing her elbow a little more underneath her. There we go. So when she's at the top, that's a little more stacked. I always think bones, trying to stack on top of bones. We're not quite there. I'm going to go 1 more time, bring it in. She's feeling I'm losing space. I'm getting crunched, but at the top, she's got more space. And let's come up to stay for the clamshells. Exhale, lift up. Feel this lift underneath your lats, your obliques, and open your knee up. And close. And rotate. And close. And if your hips aren't moving, your knees probably not going to go as far, which is okay. We don't want you to be getting some of that range actually from somewhere else, because then you're no longer in the muscles you're trying to work. And lift. And Love that she's keeping her head still in that same line as her back. It's hard to do over here. We got one more, lifting up, lower down, set your hips down, finishing nice, and then lift up. We'll reach for your shins, take that other arm up overhead, give yourself a really nice stretch. Nice to come in and out of some of our positions so we can really feel the benefit. Let's go onto your stomach now. And you'll want your legs together, zip together, and I'll have you stack your forearm or your forehands and rest your forehead down. And from here, two things very common. If you splay the abs, arch the lower back, that's one. Elevating your shoulders, lifting them up by your ears, that's two. So we want to feel that the upper back is engaged just by drawing our shoulder blades down, plugging them into your back. But we also want to feel our abdominals lift up. And let's come in and out of that. Lose your abs. Let it go. Splay, splay, splay. And then pull your abdominals like they're trying to lift off of the mat. You can see that instantly lengthens your low back. Lose it. Splay, 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 splay. We get more of a crunch. And then lifting up the abs, lengthening through your lower back. Almost like you're pulling away from like a little hot rod on the floor. And lose it one more time. Splay, 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 splay. And lift, 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 lift. And I feel that she's working really well now. She's strong and supported here. Now you feel good about your legs floating out. We're going into a modified version of single leg kick with the back down, just so we can really get that support. So the right leg will bend, heel towards her glutes. She'll kick 1, 2, at the same time, leg switch. 1, 2, leg switch. 1, 2, leg switch. 1, 2, and you're trying to hover your knees off, so your hamstrings are working two ways. 1, to keep your knees lifted off of the mat. 2, to bend your knees, so you're getting twice as much work for the same exercise than if you just had your legs down. Everybody likes a good buy one, get one deal. I always think about that when I'm doing my hip extensor, my knee flexor work. And kick, and kick. Let's find that flow. I'm gonna have her breathe in, breathe out, and in, and check it back in with the abs, breathe out, and inhale, and exhale. Breathe in, and out. Let's do 2 more each side. Last one. And stretch. Finish with your legs nice and active. Let's let them lower down. And reach your arms now up overhead. We're making a longer lever, which is going to put more work in her upper back than that last one did, which was a lot, probably more of the lower half, while this is stable. This is swimming. This is designed for the full back, but we're trying, number one, not to rock side to side. So, to get us started with the prep, I'll have your chin down a little. Let's float your right arm up, and the palm can face the floor for both hands. And right arm up, left leg up. And I don't want to see ourselves shift from side to side. Set that down. Lift your left arm and your right leg up. And set that down. There's some great research out there about how this cross-patterning, opposite arm and leg, you can keep going. It's really great for your brains, for your memory. And set it down and lift. And set it down. She's not very high in her back. I don't want her to be. I love how she's more long. I think length is more important in swimming than the height. Because let's now even out your sides. I want everything to start floating off the floor. So her legs are floating. Her arms will try to start right between her ears. So her head could be a little lower. And her shoulders are really working. This is going to work the opposite side from our computers. So now from here we lift higher. Right arm, left leg, lift. Left arm, right leg, lift. Right arm, left leg, lift. Left arm, right leg. Let's speed it up. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale. I love that she heard my tempo and she thought I'm losing stability. She took her own tempo. That's always what you should do with swimming. Prioritize the integrity of the form versus trying to achieve a certain dynamic. Let's go each side. Last one, we're evening out. And then she can lower down. Ooh, set everything down. And let's give her a stretch. Give yourself a stretch. Pull your abs up and just push yourself into a rest position. So your seat will come back to your heels. Your arms can come forward. I love ending a session with this stretch. Especially after you do a lot of back work, let your back stretch out. And when you're ready, just slowly roll yourself up, having a seat. And just thank you for taking the time to do this one where we're focusing a little bit more on the technique, because it's going to make those exercises so much deeper when you take them in a regular class flow. And it's also going to help you advance through the repertoire more. So thank you for being here today. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.